What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. So I just got done editing a yoga retreat that I shot in May, and it got me thinking about some of the experiences that I've had with yoga and photography throughout my career, even before I started shooting. So I've been practicing yoga since I was 18, and a lot of the principles that I learned throughout my practice I've applied to photography. So in this video, I want to share some of these principles with you to help you get better at photography. So there are actually 10 principles, and I narrowed it down to 5 because I feel like they are the most applicable to your photography practice. We're just going to call it that. So yoga isn't just poses on a yoga mat, it's also a mindset. So let's jump in with the first principle, which is ahimsa. Ahimsa means non-harming. So if you approach your subjects, whether you're shooting a portrait or an event or a public event or even street photography, you're not trying to exploit people or exploit moments. You are moving in with respect, with the respect to your subjects. This means sometimes if you take a shot, you might have to delete it. This means that you're honoring your subjects and you're coming out with more connected imagery, with more emotional imagery. If you approach everybody with respect, they will also respect you. The next principle is dharana. Dharana is concentration or single pointed focus. So in photography, as you know, requires a lot of focus. And the more you give your presence to your subjects, all of your attention, the better your shots are going to come out. In yoga, they tell you when you're going into a pose that's going to require balance, just to look at one point in the room and just stare at that. That helps you to stay balanced, to stay grounded. Same thing with photography. If you're just focused on the one task at hand, you're waiting for the right light to come in, you're waiting for the right timing to come with subjects if you're shooting street photography, for example. So dharana, or single pointed focus, is going to help you deepen your creative intuition and also sharpen your timing. Number 3 is santosha, and this is contentment. So being content with the gear that you have, with the skills that you have based on the amount of time that you've spent shooting, knowing that you're going to get better over time, that you might acquire different gear, but working with what you have. I once had the pleasure to hang out with Shepard Fairey. Shepard Fairey is a well-known street artist. If you don't know who he is, he did the Obey Giant campaign, I guess, or that's his art that he puts out. So he told me a story that when he was a young artist, he was very poor and could only afford 3 different color inks to create his art. So that meant that he could only use, and the colors that he could use are red, black, and white. And that defined his style. So even though now he is a very well-known, wealthy artist that could use any colors that he wants, and he has expanded his palette, but for the most part, if you see a red, white, and black image, you think of, or at least I think of, Shepard Fairey. So being content with your gear, what you have, getting creative with the lenses that you have, the things that you can afford, will be kind of a superpower for you. And instead of just being bummed out about the things that you don't have, or that blaming your gear for something that might just be you need more time behind the camera, more interesting subjects to shoot. Gear isn't everything. It is important, but don't let it get in your way thinking that you just don't have the right gear, because you probably do. Svadhyaya is self-study. So what Svadhyaya means to me is go through every single shot that you've taken. Don't just look at the selects, look at your mistakes, look at your metadata, look at what happened, why you like a shot over another shot. Is there a slight amount of motion blur? Is it slightly out of focus? studying each and every photo that you took on a photo shoot. I still do that to this day. I've been shooting for 13 years. And what I learn through the process of my edits is more than just practicing shooting. Those things kind of stick in my head while I'm out in the field shooting. I remember that I really liked the way that there was a slight amount of motion blur in my subject's hand, or I liked the way that there was a deeper depth of field than the wide open aperture. So I use a f7, for example. But I wouldn't have known some of these things if I hadn't studied my camera roll, studied the metadata, gone through each and every photo, and just picked out things that I liked or didn't like. And recently I've even gone through my old photo shoots and just checked out things. Why did I like that photo over that photo? And there's been some times where there's actually better work in my old photos that I missed because I was in a rush to get it out, or just saw the one that I loved and just focused on that one. So self-study, go through your camera rolls, study other people's work. Don't just study your own, get some photo books. Part of the practice of shooting is studying, is knowing your settings, but also knowing what your camera does and having that stuff in the forefront of your mind while you're out there in the field. Ishvara Prana Dahana means surrender. So there are going to be several things that are going to go wrong on your photo shoots. This is just the nature of life, I guess. If it can go wrong, it will go wrong at some point. And it's how you adapt to the given situation. We're working with electrical devices. Some people are working with analog, but it still is a machine that you're using that can fail and will fail at times. The weather might be forecasted to be one thing and then it turns out to be another. So it's how you are a problem solver and surrendering to the fact that whatever you're given on that day is going to be great. It's going to create a photo that you actually didn't think of. So there has definitely been times when I've been rained out and I had to shift into a studio, and then I got some great work out of the studio. Things happen all the time, and the better you are at problem solving, which is just surrendering. You're surrendering to the fact that it isn't what you planned for, and then you're moving into a new plan. So I hope these philosophies helped you just to get you thinking, to expand your mindset. Photography is more than just a technique. It is a mindset. You go in with all these different thoughts, these different ideas. You're inspired by other people. You're inspired by your life experience. And we're going to put that into our photography. So having a solid mindset is definitely going to help you create some more compelling images. And also, if you apply some of these things to your just day-to-day life, it will probably make you a more calm person. So I hope at least one of these philosophies resonates with you and helps you in your next shoot. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.